There we go. That's that. We should.
You want a fun fact for my regional? In rounds 6 and 9 were 2 of my wins. They were both siblings.
That's really unlikely.
That's some crazy odds.
Yeah.
You want to know a funner fact? Me and my buddy both competed. We finished within 3 places of each other. Because we had the same scoreline and very similar resistance. But I finished higher because one of my players I played made it to top cut.
Huh. That crops in a weird way, but whatever. I did episode, not week. I'm so inconsistent with it. Every time I do something different, I always fuck up a different part.
Guys, go to Twitter for just a second.
We're live, by the way, so if I need to mute for something, you let me know.
Just go to Twitter.
Okay. What's happening on Twitter?
Just look at the load, and then also look at the actual, like...
The dog?
Yeah.
That's the most Elon Musk thing that could happen on Twitter.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about the Doge button, just like refreshing.
Yeah, just hanging.
It being like the refresh tweets button or whatever.
Yeah, what the hell?
What are you talking about?
It's just Doge.
Yeah,
I think it has to be on desktop.
Browser?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's on the app version. No.
See, I don't use desktop, so there's that. Oh, hey everybody, we're live. New thumbnail will only look good. It won't look good on the links everywhere, but it'll look good. It'll look good on the YouTube thumbnail because it's not just gonna be a blank general screen. I will actually post that for the gang to see. This is the title card this week. All the important things about each show. Gay relationship, romance, gremlin. Yeah, I don't. Did you wind up watching last week's stream, John?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I caught bits of it when you guys were laughing at me accidentally watching the wrong show and submitting a list for the wrong show. Even though I did watch the right show.
Guys, crazy question. Do I need to get a voting sheet ready? Do we think that's needed this week? Or can we...
No.
I think it'd be funny to have one.
Okay.
But, like,
to see what
just
happens,
for the numbers.
Whoops, no one saw that.
Because, like, I know you like to have your numbers for...
That's true.
Thing.
Yeah, we might as well do it for the numbers, even though we know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
because like
yeah, I know, John. We're gonna talk about that this week. But what is it? Let's start with what everyone's been up to. I have played D&D 2 days ago. Boy, I love playing D&D. Man, do I not like playing D&D for 2 hours after work every day. Or not every day, but after work in a day. I wish there was a better way for that group to play, but we just do not really have a schedule that works for everybody right now. And that's mostly my fault.
When your work schedule gets you out of work at 10 o'clock, so you just are unavailable every day that isn't the 2 days you're off.
Hi, welcome. It's today and tomorrow. I'm gonna go see the D&D movie tomorrow. I'll talk about that next week. I bought what might be the best purchase of my life. Just the controller.
Oh, you got a DualSense?
Yeah.
I heard they are very good controllers.
Dude,
in general
it's
PC
so
use.
comfy. It's so comfy.
I mean, yeah,
It's
I've been using this. I've been using this thing for like 4 years now.
I bought this weekend as well because I decided I wanted to be able to play Game Pass games.
Fair.
Push off
And
control
I
we
got
bought
this,
weekend,
so
guys.
I got this, so I had
bought
an
this
option
weekend
for a
as well.
fighting game.
Not because I wanted to, but because you needed a wire controller to be allowed to use a Procon. And so we went to Meyer real quick on Friday and got that for like $20.
So the reason I got the DualShock 4 when I did is because before that I was using a PS3 controller.
Ew,
No.
no.
And these are
Ooh.
janky shit for fighting games.
As someone who has
The DS4
played
is
a
much
lot
better.
of video games straight during the summer months, I have really strong confidence this will not hurt my hands the same way a 360 and PS4 controller does, just the way it feels. I find it very hard to believe it's going to hurt me. Very excited. I got it in purple because, like, if I could buy a controller in purple, I'm buying it in purple.
That was me with
Okay.
my PS4 controller that I bought in gold because I love
Yeah.
the gold design.
But I really like it so far. I'm excited to play actual other games with it. Because so far I have gone through the insane hoops that is hooking that up so that I can use it for Minecraft on PC, which I don't know if you know. That means getting a secondary app that treats the controller inputs as if it was a 360
join me.
controller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots-
It's because Minecraft for Java Edition wasn't designed for anything other than PC input.
Which you use an Xbox controller for it. It won't.
Wait, for which version? Wait, which
Java.
version were you playing? Are you playing
For
Java? 'Cause
Java.
I don't think Java. Does
Yes,
Java
it does.
default to that?
No,
Crazy.
it defaults to mouse and keyboard.
No, but I
Obviously,
didn't think
but
it even had it. I thought that
Yeah,
was
it
just
take-
a Bedrock version.
nope, it takes Xbox controller inputs, which is why you have to specifically get a way to make it treat a PlayStation controller like an Xbox controller. It's very frustrating considering that game exists on PlayStation. It's not like it doesn't. Kind of wild.
It's probably that porting it into the Java version is just too much fucking work.
Yeah.
Because when I,
don't-
understand the
probably not.
Java's just annoying as shit for large scale things
Well,
like that.
maybe, yeah. So I have used that for Minecraft and I have used it for Pokemon because those are the things I play when I get home. Is I attempt Nuzlocke runs with my rule sets and they get far or they don't. There is no in between. I haven't really been talking about that because it's just I just do it. It's not really a thing that takes up time. I finished High Card. And then I finished it again with Mason.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a thing where I'm gonna talk about High Card on my own as like a side stream thing because I have some it was my show, so I'm gonna just do a thing where I talk about it, and my general opinions and run through some of the stuff I think is good, some of the stuff I think is bad. Not a lot of the bads changed. A lot of the stuff I didn't like, or I think we generally had a pretty clear consensus on, like the power scaling being really weird, or certain abilities having being very difficult to know how someone is possibly going to overcome it, all still stay by the end of the season. But overall, I think I walk away happier with the show than when it left the podcast. The last 2 episodes are insane for what it does for that show.
I still can't get over the Wendy scene. The Wendy scene fucking
I
killed
cannot express how absolutely silly the show becomes in the last episode. And by that I mean how much it reminds you that it was always silly to begin with, but it really, really decides to shine. There were a couple things that I'm like, wow, I can't believe we didn't consider this thing and talk about it before we voted it off. But also we watched it week by week, which I think hurts it. If we binged it, we definitely would have picked up on on certain things. That show ends with a stinger for a season 2. I'm really excited about that. The stinger and kind of everything the show has left to offer, I feel like implies it's going to be a lot more serious for its second half. Whenever or however that is. I think that show would excel at having a 24 episode second half, though. If season 2 was 24 episodes, I think it would have a lot of room to do a lot of things. I think 12 really limited it this season. And I think it would again if they just tried to finish it. Because I think it's a really cool world and they should spend a lot more time in it. And with its cast. That's my general opinion on High Card. I caught up on reading JJK and Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man, I'm really liking it. I was, spoilers, for part 2 of Chainsaw Man. You know, I'll try to do this in a way that's not too bad.
Yes.
No, yeah, but
I'm
I mean
proud-
like
I'm-
except
for
for
like our
maybe most recent
audience.
chapter.
I mean like maybe you and Mason are in the exact same spot, Michael, by the way. So I'm trying not to spoil things in that regard either. When I started part 2, I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about the new characters and the way the focus of it shifts. As we have gone on, I've really liked that, and they are probably one of my favorite characters. As is a certain character who gets introduced at the end of part 1, but we don't get to interact with at all until some of the more recent chapters in part 2. Which I always knew that character was going to be an absolute joy. But it's even more so than I thought. Dogs. I love dogs. So good. Wet dog's a good smell. I have a pretty I think good guess on where this story's going to go, major plot wise. It seems like at this point they've set up where we're going, and it's just getting there, and which characters are going to exist when we do. There's a character who takes a much bigger role in part 2, who was around in part 1. I don't know if they're going to live for all of part 2. Because every time they pop up, I'm like, boy, do you have flags. But also, like, somehow you've stayed alive so long. I'm not even sure what you're doing. There are parts that confuse me about you.
Are you talking about Squid Boy?
Yeah, I'm talking about Squid Boy.
Oh no, he's broken.
Hi, JJK. What the fuck?
Right?
John mentioned this in a previous episode. Sakuna cashes in on something that is in season 1 of JJK. The full 24 episodes. Something that happens there. Holy shit, was I not ready for how they do it.
Longest con of the
it is,
fucking century.
This is anyone who thinks that JJK's author is a hack, no, everything is calculated, and I hate that fact. There are things that I can't express.
The way it happens is just...
However, JJK continues to do things in its writing that makes me go, I'm sorry, what? There are just times where something will happen, or you'll start a chapter and it'll like shift to a new area by nature of the current plot we're in. And it just sometimes feels like, okay, why are we here? And then something will happen with a character and you'll go, okay, but there were signs, but I wasn't given time to process. Or they will say shit that is bad shit insane and should never be, and just should not exist. I'm gonna go pull it up again. I read this to Mason, and I'm just gonna read it again real quick. Nope, I think it's the... God, I have to get there again. There is a particular line that I argue not a spoiler, because you don't know who's saying it, you don't know the context in which it is being said, nor does it make any sense whatsoever, so you are absolutely fine to hear it. I have to figure out where it happens, though. I want to say maybe there? That might be too soon. Nah, yeah, that's not far.
JJK's batshit
Yeah.
sometimes doesn't make any sense, but man, is it actually, like, super hype when it does its super hype things.
And also something that, like, I don't think has been brought up a lot. Oh my god, do I love Itadori. He's such a good main character. And things in the manga have happened that, really reinforce that in my mind, where I'm like, yeah, no, Itadori is such a good boy, the goodest of boys. I love him so. Where the fuck is this quote? Nope, I am once again too far back. I'm trying to think if there is anything else I've done. I think the answer is not yet. Okay, so it's... There's no way this happens... Why do I feel like I'm stuck between hell? I'm going back and forth between what chapter I think it is, because the mobile app is hell, and I'm like, it's not this chapter. Is it this chapter? And now I'm realizing I was on the chapter. When I opened it. Because of course I was. So here's the line. Again, completely no spoilers really, because it doesn't make any sense for it to be spoilers. I'm also gonna try not to get it in my glasses. That's the bigger issue. So here's the line that I think is batshit insane and summarizes about where we are in JJK in the manga. I was able to avoid restrictions on unstable output and activation time by using my own body as a domain.
Yep.
What?
Isn't that? I think
What?
I know what scene that is.
His
I think I
man
know
just
what scene
said
that is.
words.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. It's
It's-
when 3 guys are fighting 1 guy, right?
Yes, it's at a conclusion.
2.5
It's
guys
at
are
a
fighting one guy?
It's at a conclusion of a fight, a very important fight, a very based fight.
Very base.
Which will be fun because when these two, when Michael, if Michael ever starts reading it, or when Mason catches up, he'll go, "Is it in this fight? No. Is it in this fight? No." And the silly thing is, every fight in current JJK does something absolutely ridiculous and incomprehensible with domains. To the point where I just think he's making up the rules, and that's probably fine.
I mean,
to be fair, once Kakuna gets involved in stuff, the rules just go out the window.
Also, to be fair, he's the mangaka. He literally
Yeah,
is.
he does
making
make
up the rules.
he does make
He
up.
literally
the
does make
rules.
shit up. That is true.
It does make me feel like this manga has very strong Bleach energy at times.
Fair.
With how I understand how parts of Bleach's power scaling and abilities and stuff work.
Bleach's
Fine.
power scaling is
something.
On that note, I also did a lot this week.
Yeah, you had a thing last week too.
So I'm caught up with all my manga, of course. Oshinoko is getting into a really great territory, and the first episode airs a week from today. Really excited for that.
I can't wait to force many people to watch that hour-long episode with me.
I've been informed I'm not allowed to watch that by myself. I have 2 other people who are required to watch that with me, and there's no choices. You better be free in a week from now. That's what I'm saying.
John, what do you think I do with my life?
I don't know. Just be free on Wednesday next week. Yeah, this past weekend I went to Fort Wayne, participate in the Pokemon regionals. I did okay. I went 4 and 5. Wasn't quite. I wanted to go 5 and 4. I went 4 and 5. I ran a snow team that had Obama Snow and Iron Bundle and Chiyu, Iron Valiant, Sarah Ledge, and then Iron Treads. So 3 of the Paradox Mons and then 1 of the new Ruin Mons. And so got a little sitting cutie of Obama Snow. It's not focusing right now, but that's okay. He's adorable. He was the MVP. Good EV spreads. He lived on 1 HP 2 times in different games. Also got this little almost pachinko coin of him because they have a bunch of side events at the tournament, as it turns out. So because of the pass I bought, I got 2 tickets to begin with. You need 2 for some, 3 for others, basically. I did a lot of the double point ones to rack up points because someone wanted a giant plushie that was about 2 foot tall Sprigatito. I'm not kidding. It's this tall.
It's very big.
And it's massive.
It's very big.
And guess who owns it? Not me. My girlfriend does, and it's at her house, and I don't get to see it anymore. I haven't even held the thing.
You will.
So no. First thing I bought though was actually this little Mimikyu plushie because he's great. I love him. Mimikyu is one of my favorite Pokemon. I won this in one of the little side events.
Michael, don't you have a Mimikyu plushie?
So I have a little Mimikyu ball.
Who does? Someone we know does.
And then for just the package I bought, I got a whole playmat to choose from, and I chose the Regidrago one.
Good.
It's really nice. It says Pokemon Regional on there. It's really nice. I got a T-shirt as well that's in the wash right now, and then I have my team sheet from the event. So this is your team sheet. It shows all 6 of your Pokemon, and then it has different languages for different players, which is really neat. Really cool to do that because I feel that for people who come and then they can't actually read what they are. But yeah, that was kind of my weekend. I did okay. I went 4-5, earned a big Sprigatito for my girlfriend. Had a lot of fun. Probably gonna go to NAIC, which is in where is that? Columbus, Ohio. And that will be at the end of June. I know, but
Ohio.
It will also be on the same format.
Ohio.
So time to refix the team. Probably go with a different team than this current one. See how the meta develops over the next couple regionals as well. Team that ended up winning was a Dragapult team. I really liked Dragapult before this regional. Didn't have time to test it really though. But I was happy with the team I chose. I thought it played pretty well. I had a lot of fun. And on the RNG front, because I like to keep stats, I have my notebook upstairs, but I remember a lot of the statistics. Fun fact: for the first time in VGC, 1-hit KO moves are actually popular right now. Yes, that's terrifying. because Pokemon decided, hey, how about we get a Mon that has 155 base HP, 125 defense, and 80 special defense, with also an ability that lowers special attack against it. And we gave it Fissure. So this Pokemon's almost impossible to one-hit KO, and it has a 30% chance to just kill any of your Pokemon. And so, of the Fissures clicked against me, 3 out of 4 hit. That is not 30%. I froze people, I think, 4 times, only one of which mattered in a game, and then I lost the set. It would have ended up winning the set, but only one of those freezes mattered that I got. I was crit, I want to say 8 times in total, including 3 times in a single game. Which, again, when you set up Aurora Veil, crits go through that. So it was a really sad time. That was against the guy who ended up finishing 7-2, so you're welcome, guy. What's some of the other RNGs? I got hit by every single rock slide that was targeted at a Pokemon not protecting, which I believe is 8 out of 8. He got flinched 4 times. Once of which happened on turn 1, where he tailwind rock slided and double flinched my Hail team. That was cool. And so yeah, I expect RNG to be bad for me. That's just how it is. That's why I use mostly accurate moves and things like this. However, the highlight of the entire tournament came at the very end. It was Sunday. We're doing side events, and my buddy had to go, so he gave one of his tickets to my girlfriend. Said, "You have to use it to play in a bracket." So like, here you go, Amber. I'll give you my team. I'll play in the bracket too. I'll make a new team real quick. It'll be fun. You have a great time. And so I got a bye, so I had extra time to finish making this team that I was scrambling to make for this little mini bracket. And she had to play around against some random person. And she's using my team. I was sitting there looking over and watching. And I'm like, she's making some good moves. Okay. Oh, good call there. Good call there. Nice freeze. Okay. Oh, she could win this. Oh, she won. Wow, yeah, you won. Great job, honey. And then I played against her the next round and hit Fissure twice on her. Because I'm a good boyfriend like that. And so I introduced her that Pokemon is a harsh reality, that luck is never on your side. But it was good fun. She was salty for about 3 seconds until I handed her 2,000 tickets to go buy her Sprigatito, and then she didn't care anymore. So, but now she might start getting into Pokemon, which is really exciting. So I had a good time. I will be looking to go to more Pokemon events in the future, and my ultimate goal is just to make one top 8 so I get one of those big shiny medals. They look so cool. Oh, also, I mostly finished Octopath.
Nice.
Yo.
Hey, Michael, what have you been up to? Oh, or Mason, either or.
You want to go, Michael?
Sure. So I've done a bunch of little things. I did 2 whole speedruns of Bug Snacks. The Any
Let's
Percent, 'cause
go.
I was bored.
Let's go!
It's more of a joke because someone downloaded as like an emulator with Mario 64, and they've been learning how to do the 16-star run as a joke. So when we ping someone for time to do a raid, it's whether they can get the speedrun done in time. Which is really funny because he's not very good at it. It takes him like 30 minutes at least, if not longer. Bug Snacks runs take me 20 minutes about. So yeah, it's just kind of funny. I finished another run through of Dying Light 2 because that game is super short when you're skipping all side quests. And I finally got the ending I want. Yippee! I finally sat down and went, okay, I gotta actually get this ending. And yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever, a game came out. / I purchased a game. It's an early access that I had on my wish list for a while.
Oh.
Called Spiritfall.
Ah, that one.
It is the roguelike 2D the roguelike platform fighter. It's interesting. I think it certainly feels, you can tell it's in early access. It certainly feels like there's going to be a lot more in the game than what is currently in it. The game's neat. But yeah, I played like 3, and I guess I only played like 2 hours today. I felt like I played for longer. I did like a bajillion runs, but runs take like 10 minutes at most at the beginning. But yeah, it feels a lot like Brawlhalla in the style of like the way you move and the way the attacks feel.
Okay.
So I'm not like it probably feels good once you start getting used to everything, but it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Because it definitely like feels Brawlhalla with like just the way everything and like the physics and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty neat. That's about all I've done. So while John was going over his stuff, I caught up to Chainsaw Man. And I'm now catching up through My Hero because I was like 2 chapters behind on that. My Hero
Someday
goes
someone will
crazy.
catch up to Oshinoko. My Hero does go crazy. I'll give you that.
See, again, the issue is that Oshinoko, I need to do it on my fucking phone
Mm-hmm.
and have to use Manga Plus, which is
I
annoying
know.
because I get 1 read per chapter.
That's my issue with JJK. Is like, I want to go do it, but I have to do it on Manga Plus, and like,
Wait, JJK not on Viz?
It is on Viz. That's where I read it.
oh, I should just.
Yeah, because it's in Shonen Jump, so it would be on Viz. The issue that
Yeah.
Oshinoko is not. That's why
Yeah, you're right.
it's a little hard to get.
Yeah,
But
that's where I read all my stuff is Viz.
Fair enough.
Because I think the Viz subscription is a really stellar deal.
Yeah,
Um,
$2 for the entire Shonen Jump vault is yeah.
Pretty good.
The UI kind of sucks to like
Yeah.
find things, but
It's also really frustrating that if you've technically read a chapter before, it'll pick you up at the end of it where you were, which means if you read it but you really weren't in the mind state and you go back to read it, it'll put you right at the end of the chapter, which for catching up to Chainsaw Man for me was like I don't remember if I saw this and now I'm not sure. Sometimes it does not like to remember where I was. Because sometimes when I go to click on the thing I want to read, it takes me to the most recent chapter, not where I was. Because I misclick because my thingy's big. Not fun. Anything else, Michael?
no, not really.
Okay, Mason. I know you did it.
But
I
other
know
than
a
we
thing
played
you did.
D&D the one night.
We did do that, yes.
I watched a lot of stuff.
I heard.
So-
I've heard.
So I finished out Summertime Rendering. That was really good. It was like a solid 8. As I've said in our chat, but I'll say it to the audience now. That show gets kind of wacky, zany, unhinged, like right after we finished it, and it just kind of goes balls to the wall shonen bullshit really fast. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch because they do some really crazy things. But it's also one of those, this mystery show turned into an action show very quickly, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Which, to be fair, we made a lot of comments about how shonen that show felt when we were watching it, and how that wasn't
Yes.
really what we wanted from it.
Mhm.
So that makes sense.
I mean, I'll say this, when it leaned into it, it was actually really solid because
Yeah.
I stopped it still did the mystery elements really well. There's a whole ass assassin arc in it, which is really funny. That was interesting to watch. That lasts for like 3 episodes. That was cool. But yeah, it was a fun time. I'm very glad I went back and watched it because I enjoyed how it played out, how I enjoyed the ride. I also finished High Card as well earlier today. I'm planning on finishing Fire Hunter probably like tomorrow or sometime this weekend. It's only 2 episodes. And I also started watching Harley Quinn on HBO Max, which that show is actually incredible.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Like, it does a very good job of showing, hey, Harley Quinn and Joker is not something to aspire to, guys. In fact, it's something we actively do not want you to think about. We don't like it. It's bad.
By the way, did you know that Harley Quinn has established characteristics that exist without the Joker, and
Yes.
and like can be shaped and molded with or without the character, and we've kind of forgotten about that in modern iterations for big screen showings. Interesting.
It's very fun because it's a comedy show,
Yes.
so it likes to take jabs at how Harley Quinn is portrayed in other media. So there's a point where like she gets shipped a bunch of shirts that are Suicide Squad shirts, and everyone's like, "What the hell is that?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, it's just some dumbass team that keeps wanting me to join them. I don't know. I'm not doing it," which is just funny to me.
DC animated shows stay winning.
Yes, DC animated shows are really good because I also started watching Young Justice. Young Justice is also really good.
I have not seen the third season, and I am hesitant to go into it because I have heard things and
I'm only like 5 or 6 episodes into it, but I'm really liking how they do it.
I love season 1, and I'm also and I liked a lot of season 2. I know some people get iffy on it.
It does one of the funniest things I've ever seen, which is Robin will just be in a group of people, and then he'll just disappear, and then he'll do a stupid maniac laugh. And it's the funniest thing ever, because he has a really, he's only 12 or 13 in this show when it starts.
Yeah,
so he's got a higher pitched voice, and it's just so funny.
And that is Tim.
It's
get the right one. Get the right one.
It's Dick Grayson.
Yeah, Dick Grayson. I was like, it's Nightwing. Which one's Nightwing? And the only and I just spoiler.
It's Dick Grayson in that one.
Spoiler: Young Justice has a lot of Robins in it.
Yes. Also, Robin also shows up in Harley Quinn. It's Damian Wayne, and he's just whiny, and it's hilarious.
Damian Wayne's a very interesting Robin.
He's Gotham's sweet potato pie. That's an actual thing. It's wonderful. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of DC animated stuff, and then also, as of today, I helped my friend get through and finish Stormblood in Final Fantasy XIV. So we're getting there.
Let's
Got
go.
2 more expansions, and then he's caught up. And he's getting to my favorite expansion, and I'm going to play through all of it again with him, and I'm so excited. Shadowbringers legitimately is one of the best video game experiences I've ever had in my life. Go play for 14, please.
Is it critically acclaimed?
It is. It's also award-winning.
Normally I would not do something like this, but I do a lot that I'm gonna do 2 things. One of which I normally wouldn't do, and one I do tend to do. Little update right now where we are with some of the shows this season. Sugarapple Fairy Tail, High Card, both slated to get second seasons. Sugarapple Fairy Tail in 2 seasons from now, which is really weird. It'll be coming out the same season as JJK2, which feels crazy in my brain. But yeah, they're doing a split core that I guess they decided they were gonna do another 12, which is neat.
Yeah, it's a thing Spy Family did. It's a thing a lot of things did.
Hey, by the way, fun little anime thing. The second season of JJK, consecutive 2 core.
Hell yeah.
As it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's what they did with part 1 of it. It was 2 cores.
It was consecutive.
Yeah,
but it's
it was straight 25.
I'm so used to big stuff now taking split core.
Taking that taking that break.
Yeah. I mean, JJK season 1 had that couple week break, but yeah, that was just for the season itself.
And it will probably
1 week break.
It'll probably do that with this next one too, because they tend to do that. But I think that's a sign to me that means Mappa is putting all the money there. Because that's what they did with it last time, and it worked, and we didn't have delays or issues, which may or may not have repercussions on the people working on it. But God, I can't wait for what that's gonna look like. Other thing. Go ahead, Mason.
I was just gonna say, don't you love how Mappa's suddenly become Cloverworks in terms of the amount of shows that they're churning out per season?
Yep.
Because they have literally I think in summer they have 4 or 5 coming out. Whether it's sequels to something that they've already made or new series that are coming out.
Are they still doing AOT? Are they the studio that does current AOT?
I think they're doing current AOT. They're also doing Mashal. They're doing they're doing Hell's Paradise. They're doing JJK. They're doing oh god, they're doing so much.
It's Wit and Cloverworks that do Spy Family, thankfully.
Spy.
Yeah. It doesn't have to do another thing. But yeah, so they do a lot because it's lots of stuff. Other thing that I normally wouldn't talk about, but I think this is so funny that I have to bring it up. This is me retelling a news story from a different podcast I listen to. The Microsoft Activision acquisition is still pending. And one of the more recent things they've had happen is Microsoft's had its lawyer teams basically say, hey, we don't sell well in Japan, and that's because Sony is doing things in Japan to make us sell less, like, or console. Like, we don't sell Xboxes in Japan as well as we could because Japan and Sony are, like, blocking us out. Can the American government do something about this? And the response they got was, well, maybe, we'll see. Which is the US government going,
Which is basically law
no.
of video games.
Which is the US government going, no, why would we? It's a very funny thing to consider because, one, no, that is not the reason your console does not do well in Japan. Two, even if it was the reason, Sony is predominantly now a US-based company compared to where it was many years ago. And three, the U.S. government would have no power to do that. The most they would get out of that is the U.S. government going, hey, Japan, could you, like, look into this thing that Microsoft says? And Japan would probably go, sure, and then nothing would happen.
Yes.
As mentioned before, the U.S. government's too busy bailing out our own banks to worry about.
Yeah, we have
a
whole nother problem on the hand. But it does really raise questions about, is this acquisition gonna go through? I personally don't think it will. I think Activision's too big for the government to let Microsoft buy. I think the fact that we're even paying attention to it now is a sign that it's not gonna happen. Like, if it was just, like, the EU being like, we're not sure about this, the fact that it's also our government, it's like, oh, wow, you've really drawn attention to yourself. And I think they really, really made a mistake with the Call of Duty stuff. I think they are big idiots to be like, no, we promise it'll be on every platform. It won't go exclusive. That'd be crazy. Why would we do that? Oh, we would totally, consider an offer where if we do get Activision, we have to make Call of Duty that runs on the Switch. Smile.
I want to see my little 9-year-old going, you guys want to play Pokemon Unite tonight? Nah, I feel like playing Call of Duty.
You can do it through cloud gaming, a thing that everyone is slowly starting to admit doesn't work.
Yes.
Hey guys, did you know we're an anime podcast?
We are.
So much so that this episode, we may have more random discussion at the beginning than actual anime conversation. We'll see. Probably not, but we'll see. And you know what time it is? It's time for Goblin Mode. No, time to send the PR this week. If you are not... Wait a minute. That's not right. Where did that PR go? Hold on.
I know
there it is. I just didn't scroll down far enough in my folder. Yeah, there's no blocks this week, so the way I bold is if no one else on the podcast shares an opinion this week, it gets bolded. Crazy.
Hi.
Let's go, Michael.
It's just me.
Who could have seen this
The
coming?
correct opinion.
The correct opinion.
I will. Michael, my opinion on Buddy Daddies this week is basically what yours was last week. And I'll talk about
we should probably be doing these by actual shows, but it was a really good episode, so fuck you.
Well, I'm gonna talk about why I don't have Trigun at 1. There is a very particular reason for that. And it is not a bad thing, is what I'll say. Hey John, we're gonna get into this really quick. Because as per usual, it's Tomo time. This week, we start out with it's birthday first. June's birthday is coming up, which means it's time to work. The girls get an over the long weekend job, where they run up to a supporting male character whose name I forget, who is June's friend.
Katsuya.
Yeah, they work at Katsuya's family's ramen shop. God Ramen. Or something along those lines.
Yes, God Ramen.
Where he explains that his mother has gone to visit her family, and now his dad is in shambles and needs assistance. To which the whole gang jumps at it, and we get Tomo and Carol in maid outfits serving ramen as Gundo works behind the counter and makes sure everything runs well. And as soon as Carol starts to not do the job well, she shoves her outside to just attract people. June then shows up and comes to eat and comments on how Tomo looks cute. That's not what he says, because she would literally explode. He says she looks good in the outfit. The outfit looks good. And her brain explodes. Anyway. And then she winds up having enough money to buy June a watch. The same watch that she has. A sports watch. They have matching watches. It's cute. Then we go into the second part of this episode. Tomo's like, yeah, you know, getting June to consider me more feminine-like has actually really worked. So much so that I want to do it more. Gundo, more ideas. It worked last time. You're my girl. Give me more stuff. And she goes, let him touch your tits. And she's like, wow! By the way, harsh language and spoilers. Forgot it this week, but here we are. And Tomo's like, that's crazy. Bodily contact, that's too far, says the person who punches and puts him in a headlock every week. And Gundo's like, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to help you by pushing Jun down the stairs. And then she gets Tomo on board by making it, by being like, hey, are you telling me you can't do it? You're not strong enough to catch Jun? And she's like, oh, fuck you. No, of course I am. I'll catch as many Juns as I want. And then Gundo pushes Jun down the stairs. At which point he, in mid-air, sidesteps Tomo and then accidentally touches Carol's breasts. At which point, probably one of my favorite handled scenes in this episode happens, where Jun goes, I must be punished, and Tomo goes, are you sure? This was legitimately not your fault at all. And he goes, no, you must. And then they pummel him off screen. As Gundo then has like an epiphany where she's like, oh boy, I'm doing horrible things. This isn't good. I need to atone. And then she falls down the stairs and trips into sidekick character Kun. And he's like, how much can I manipulate this situation? Phone number. And she goes, wow, that was surprisingly not as bad as I thought. He goes, shit. Fucked up. And then Gundo doesn't come to school because she is sick. And Carol tells Tomo, so Tomo goes and breaks into Gundo's house through a window. We get the good opens window character there, close window. And then her and Gundo talk, and Tomo's like, hey, I know you. So either you hate me, at which point, wow, that fucking sucks. I don't know what I could have done or what could have happened to cause that. Or you're overthinking it, at which point, stop. And she leaves. After dropping off their class's school festival play, which is Cinderella. So Gundo comes back to school and finds out she has been cast as Cinderella. She wants to strangle people. Carol is then casted as the godmother. The stepmother.
The wicked stepmother.
And Tomo is casted as the prince, and Jun is casted as a tree, and thus everyone berates him because he is a tree and should keep his opinions to himself.
Yeah, at least he's in the fucking play on like 90% of the class.
Right? And then Tomo's like, hey, let's go practice. Well, Gundo's like, let's go practice on the roof, and Tomo's like, I'm not good at acting. And Gundo's response is simple: don't act, just be you. Fucking womanizer. And then oh my boy, I'm trying to think of where this episode goes from here. Her and Tomo and Jun walk back home together, and then Tomo ropes Jun into practicing as well, where he reads the lines for Cinderella. It's cute. I love this bit. That's the episode. There's also more bits of Gundo being like, I've forced this idea onto Tomo that she needs to be more girly, and that isn't right to have done. And that's kind of like the central issue going on right now. I usually talk a lot about the show right after I summarize it. You guys talk.
This episode's good. The first half is all like, they're like the first half. It's all just kind of comedy stuff for like like up until we get the second title card, essentially. And when we get past the ramen shop bit, ramen shop was all really fun. That was really funny how about like last episode we got the ED with the guy, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna actually have him be a character now.
Yeah,
we understand it. It's a little weird to have him in the ED like that, and him just have not been a character essentially.
We remembered him.
And then all the character stuff in the second half is great. Gundo's great. Jun is just Jun. He does good things. It's a lot of just Gundo stuff that's like the actual character stuff that happens. It's all just like really good.
I will say something I really like is that I think post last week's episode, despite things feeling like they might have gone back to normal, Tomo and Jun's relationship very much is being portrayed more as like flirty. And like actual high school potential couple, very clearly with crushes on each other, dynamics between them. Like it is very different from where we were at the start of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've seen a lot of progression between the characters. I think we see a lot between like their relationship advancing. I think it's interesting. And we're just waiting for that something to happen at some point here. Because it's getting close. I enjoy it. It's good. I don't know. There's not too much to say about it. It's been this similar thing the entire time. I enjoy the show. Good time. Is it 4 this week? Yes. But it's also not a show I'm voting this week. Spoilers. It's not Trigun either.
Hey, by the way, guys, did you know that every other show on our podcast after this week has 1 episode left, and this has 2?
That's true.
Which I think is a very important dynamic to how every other episode feels compared to this one.
That's true.
God, I am not ready to see what the fuck Buddy Daddy's gonna pull to wrap it up in one
Yeah,
episode.
we're gonna talk about that. When we in a little bit. Mason, other thoughts about Tomo?
No, I mean, I thought this episode of Tomo was good. I was watching it in call with Sean earlier. I thought it was genuinely a really funny episode.
The faces this episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely 10 out of 10 just random freeze frame faces to use as profile pictures.
True.
We also in the dub we can quote Tomo as saying, "It's your birthday present, you goober."
Good.
Which I love because goober's a great word. 10 out of 10.
The other thing I really enjoyed was just the bit where they're like, "Shut up, June, you're a tree. No one cares." They're all just beating the shit out of him.
He just gets pushed over. He's like, I can't get back up.
Yeah, no, the line, I don't know if it's exactly the same in the sub, but the line in the dub, he yells the exact life alert line. He goes, "I have fallen and I can't get up." I fucking lost it.
That's incredible.
It's the fucking life alert bit now. It's so good.
I'll also
That's
come
so
back
amazing.
like the random like June like fucking low res eyeballs.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
That and the Gundo like just blank expression, like no eyes, just blank, killed me as well.
Mason and I talked about this. One of the things that is also really nice, that like we talked about this last week, John, which is like it was really weird to have part of the ED last week be Gundo and this guy who's barely been around. And that especially because it does not feel like their character dynamics are going to change at all. But what is really nice to see this episode, and I think is an important part about his character, is that he realizes that Gundo is acting differently, and he's not immediately like, "Oh wow, she's changed for the better." It's really one of those more like, "You're not acting the way I actually..."
Are you sick?
Like, it's very clear he actually likes getting the cold shoulder from her, and that's like part of the appeal for him. Like she likes her for her.
Like there's a point where like she's like, "Oh, like, are you okay?" when she falls on him, and he's like, "Who are you and what have you done with Gundo? Like, are you okay? Are you sick? What's happening?"
I also adore the fact that when she is wearing the Cinderella dress, he is crying rivers.
Yes.
And the entirety of all the girls in their class swooning over Tomo being a hot prince. And props to the show for doing the Tomo chest bit without, like, making it highly sexual. It's just her chest goes out a little more because we've established she has tits. And they did not tie her binder tight enough. Poor girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about it. Hey, Michael, it's Buddy Daddy's time.
Yeah, it's Buddy Daddy's time. Buddy Daddy's goes crazy this week.
Yeah.
To put it lightly. So right off the bat, we have the two boys being espresso depresso because they have lost their child. And we get the 10 out of 10 storytelling that is immediately seeing them eating trying to think of exactly what food we see them eating that night or whatever, because it's like some really shitty like instant food or something.
Yeah, they do instant food, and they
or
also do
something
the,
like that.
they do the chocolates.
And then we see them. Yeah. Then he goes to the store, buys the choco rings. Then you see Kazuki eating the choco ring, which he has talked shit about constantly. And then we get another scene of that, like, and we see like again them that night after sitting there and wallowing and watching TV all day, eating instant ramen. And then we get the hard hitting line from Kazuki where he just goes, "I hope Miri's eating well." And I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, I noticed you weren't eating well. You can't make this a line and make me think about it again. Fuck you, show. But yeah, it's great. And then the bad happened. The bad was already kind of happening, but then the bad happened. Ray's like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to my dad. He's like, that's understandable, I guess. I know your dad sucks, but like, I guess kind of like the promise. And Kazuki's like, yeah, I guess I'll go get a smaller place. And he goes to Q. He's like, hey, could I get some jobs, something to do to distract me? And Q's like, no, because you're depressed. And he's like, fuck you. And then the dad, then we get the conversation between Ray and his dad, where the dad goes, yeah, we have to cut all connections that you had. And it puts out the picture of them, all the three of them. And then Ray goes into panic mode, and you go into panic mode. And then we cut to Miri and her mom vibing, being a happy I think we got like a tiny clip of this earlier of them like being a happy little family. Miri's mom she's trying her hardest to be a mom. She makes her fresh homemade hamburg steaks. He's great. Then Mr. I need to hear your last words shows up.
He got a package.
I didn't
he
realize
has a package.
I didn't realize that he's been the guy since the beginning. It was this episode where my brain went, oh, he's been the tall guy who's been walking about with the hat and who we just... Because
that does make sense.
My brain was expecting it to be like a more like even more unemotional monster. Like I was expecting like a Mr. X kind of assassin, but it's just him. And this was the episode where I finally went, oh, fuck you, it's just been him, huh? Which makes sense. He's fucked up.
But yeah, we get that. So he comes in, and he pulls out gun, and he shoots Barry's mom, and that's bad because guns kill people. And you're like, oh shit, this is really bad because if he's not stopped very quickly, there won't be a Miri left, and then I'll be extra sad.
There's very much a not good when he entered the house.
So right before this happened, Ray like calls Q or whatever, and then Q calls Kazuki or whatever. I don't remember exactly how the whole thing.
He calls Kazuki, and then Kazuki tells Q to call Miri's mom to try to warn her.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it did the whole chain of Ray's like, you gotta go help Miri, and Kazuki's like, bet. And he tries his hardest to get there. He doesn't get there in time to stop a guy from getting in, but he's still able to stall him a little bit. He himself gets shot, but he's able to pull the coolest fucking move twice in a row to stall this man and get him to leave. He has him, he's like, yeah, I was just setting you up. I'm just the brains of the operation. Then yells Ray's name to stall him to turn around to get his gun back. God, it's such a good scene. Kazuki's great.
Can we talk about...
Then he pulls the Giga Brain move of having Q show up and play police sirens outside of their house so the guy would leave.
Yeah.
I wanna point to the part of this scene where this assassin pins Kazuki to the ground and puts his thumb in his bullet wound. Jesus Christ, this show.
But yeah, so Kazuki with Q is able to, they get Miri out, and they're able to get Miri to, Q has a safe house that family doesn't know about, theoretically.
Supposedly.
And that's where they are currently staying. Kazuki, Miri, Ray, and Q, kind of. And that's where we end off with them. Or we also get Miri waking up partially and going, oh, Papas are back? Where's Mama? And then you cry.
Why are you always lying? Mama went to a farm upstate.
Can we talk about the fact that, like, this episode got so fucking brutal out of goddamn nowhere? It was like, the first couple episodes we had a little bit of the action stuff where people are dying and stuff, but it
Well-
like cuts away. This episode got really dark really fast.
That was my thing.
Yeah.
This was my thing with the show. This is why I
Which is
was
good,
like, I feel
but-
like this show shines where it's willing to do both. Because when its first 3
Mhm.
episodes had some of this, and then we kind of lost it a little bit, and then we slowly got it back, and this episode rocks. Hey guys, what's their plan?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
what the he's like, yeah, we're just gonna leave the family, and Q just goes, okay, and I go, what?
I thought
You're
we made
like,
it
how
clear
does Ray
we
get out of
can't
this?
do that. By the way,
He knows he can't negotiate with his dad. That's not a thing.
By the
Attack.
way-
They got to kill his dad and become the family.
props to Kazuki for talking to Rei out on the balcony and just becoming Kazuya Kiryu and just going, what if we drop her off at an orphanage and we just never see her again? And Rei being the one who's played a PS5 goes, no, that's a horrible idea. Knowing that immediately this plot point will come back to haunt him later if he allows it. Do not leave children at orphanages with ties to you if you are in a group of assassins, mafia, or the Yakuza. It's a bad idea.
Especially
They
not
will
if you're an
find
oil
them.
baron from the Middle East or something.
Correct. They do a really good job of letting Mary be a child, as per usual. And I appreciate, and while like I wish the easy answer to this problem was always just have have a mom and 2 dads. The show very clearly portrays Miri's mother as thinking that the reason she even has this fixation on her 2 fathers was because she was a failure as a mother, which like is obviously not it. It's just because Miri has enough room to love everybody. But it gives the reason why, this separation thing had to happen. This episode hurts. I think this episode's really good. I have no idea what they do next week. In that, like, this very much, like, this felt so weird, ending-wise.
This episode was great.
Lots
it feels
of
so wild that
yeah.
we know they're wrapping this up in one episode.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what they do.
Commit murder.
Well, yeah, probably.
Miri just shows up and calls Rei's father Grandpapa, and then he melts. And his
And he
heart
goes,
grows
"Shit,
3 sizes
right.
that day.
Guys, we're not gonna kill people anymore.
If only.
We're gonna run an orphanage.
Rei rocks this episode.
Ray's incredible this episode.
Ray's incredible all of the
True.
time.
I can't
True.
believe that Kazuki's just going to become Lindsay from High Card.
True.
But yeah, I personally liked this episode a lot. That's why it's number
Yeah.
1 for me though, is because like it went
For sure.
in, and we were
Yeah,
like,
no,
oh, they just
I
killed the
reasonably
mom.
could have put it at number 1, but another show certainly is peak fiction.
Yeah, we're gonna get to
Mhm.
that, and but I'll state my argument now for it. Man, does this episode of Trigun edge you? It's not fair. It should just it's not. It's very clearly it's a penultimate episode, right? Like we're about to get to the last episode. This episode, in like its own standalone, I'm like, oh, it's so good. I have no idea what you're doing next week, but it's so good. I know what Trigun's doing next week. It's blowing my fucking brains out. With how amazing it is. So like this week, I was like, yeah, we can put it here. Never tell me this show doesn't fucking look good, Mason. Talk about Trigun.
Hello, yes. Speaking of anime of the goddamn century, so Trigun this week. So first we get Meryl being sad, and she runs into Wolfwood, and basically after just talking with him for a bit, she kicks him in the shit and goes, "I'm disappointed in you," and he goes, "That was fucking rude," and just walks away. And then Meryl walks to where shit's happening, where Vash has been put in this like into essentially a large test tube where the plants are with Nye, and Nye takes his knives and stabs into Vash for a little bit. Not like killing though. Like he memory stabs him. So what this whole episode is not going through Bash's memories and erasing them one by one, so that he doesn't have anything else holding him to being human. So that he can make him become full plant, so that he can do his evil plan.
And access the higher plane.
And access the higher plane. I was gonna get to that. So, Nai's whole idea is that, man, humanity sucks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to access the plants, and I'm going to control the plants, and I will kill all of humanity and remake this planet with all the plants on it and regrow all the life on it that way. And I'm gonna do that
That's kind of based.
By going to the higher plane that the plants access to get their energy. And I will control the plants from there. But to do that, he needs Vash to open the gate to the higher plane by connecting with the other plants. So while he's doing this, Vash is scrambling, trying to hold on to these memories, and just can't seem to do it. The last one that stays for a bit is the memory of Rem. And it's clear that for some of these memories, they did actually stick with Nai as well. But in the end, the Rem also gets erased from Bash's memory.
Who's Rem?
Exactly. We get to make that joke, and it means two separate things, both relating to the same form of media. That's great. But also, while this is happening, Meryl is talking with Conrad and is like, "Look, man, you can stop this. I will kill you to make sure this stops." And he goes, "Too late. We're past the point of no return." Which doesn't do it. You won't.
You're right. I won't. I'll shoot the glass. Do it. You can't.
It's bulletproof. Basically, it's just like, yeah, if you kill me, Vash dies. So like, you're losing out.
I was like, she didn't even try anything. Like,
Yeah.
He just talked no juice his way out of it. She's like, "I'll shoot the glass." He's like, "It's bulletproof. Trust me. You can't kill me, or else he's not getting out."
But
And you're
also,
he's not getting out as it is.
what if she does shoot the glass and it's not bulletproof? Cool. Then you have to deal with millions knives.
Yeah.
In
Maybe
his-
she shoots him and she wins.
In his
he
sick.
also thought it was bulletproof.
And, God, millions knives is jacked as fuck.
Yes, he is.
He looks like
God.
that.
It's so interesting watching this episode, because the whole idea that Knives has is not just using Vash, but also that he wants his brother back. But he's so misguided at this point from having this like insane idea of what life should be on this planet at this point, that having his brother back is having him in quite literally a vegetative state.
Hate you.
Came up with that one on the spot. It's the world champ difference, baby.
World champ different.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically all that happens this episode. Also, plants grow. The plants grow, and also they're pregnant by the end of this. That was a weird thing. But
Yeah.
the plants grow and start taking over the room that they're in, and also start taking over the tower that they're in. And the people in July notice this, and they freak the fuck out, and they go, "That shouldn't be happening. Kill it with fire." So they start shooting everything they can at it. Nothing happens with it, except for the room shakes a little bit. But yeah, Nai ends up fully taking over Vash and opening the gate to the higher plane. And then the cum zone. And then the plants that were growing around the building turn into a living being.
Kind of looks like Ram.
Kind of looks
Kind of looks
Ram.
like Ram.
Kind of looks like Ram.
Is this Moana?
And that's how the episode ends. Dude, what the fuck is Trigun? It's so good,
Okay.
man.
Pretty fucked.
So,
Where they
like-
go back and they see like the memories we haven't fully seen yet with
Yeah.
like the mom and stuff, and like what
Yeah.
they saw with like
God.
the plant that
Dude,
was like
the
fucking
plant.
torn apart.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh god. So that's I
It looks a lot
neglected
like
to
the
talk
one that
about
they
that.
just fought in the other room. In the
Yeah,
last
it's-
episode.
I don't know.
So-
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
It looked a lot like
But-
her.
I think it had a different name. Well, they all
For
look
them.
very similar. Is the idea.
Mm.
So One, um, I refuse to believe you could do this in any other form of animation besides CG. Holy shit, there are so many things in this episode you can't do. The way it does
roots
it.
move alone.
The scene where Vash breaks in the garden, where Rem disappears, and the one that I have is a screenshot where the sky cracks and the fire comes about. That scene's fucking beautiful. You can't do that. It's not possible. Like, in the way it is, it's just not. It's just, I've been debating when to talk about this, because it was something I've heard people say on Twitter, that I didn't really want to get into, but feels most at place now when we're so close to the end of it. There are people who are saying that they were pretty sure, like even earlier on, that Stampede's a prequel, like it's a reboot prequel, which makes a lot of sense because my understanding is there are a lot of characters in Trigun, and we haven't seen a lot of them. And I meant to bring this up last week, but they tease a lot of them with the wanted posters, just barely out of frame always. And I can believe it, given the fact that Vash, I mean, obviously he looks young, but he looks really young, right, compared to his original Trigun design. Either way, even whether that is the case or not, which we'll find out next week, I'm sure, this episode's fucking insane. It stands to reassure me that I think I am right with saying that the Rolo episode of this show might be one of the best crafted storytelling masterpieces of all time, and the fact that they call back to this episode and brutally kill him again hurts my soul. Oh God, you're just having a time, you're getting ready, and then all of a sudden, bam, he's dead again. You're like, show, why do you do this to me?
God,
there is something so atrocious and so villainous about the fact that Nye is inside Vash's mind, and Vash's thoughts are, Rolo still blames me for how he's turned out, and Nye, like, reinforces that belief, when we all know the only reason Rolo suffered the way he did was 'cause of Nye. It's such, it has such a horrible aftertaste of, like, you are so horrible of a person to put him through this. But then also, like you said, you have those moments where it's like, he still really, like, values Vash as a brother, but just thinks Vash stopped being his brother the moment he started siding with humanity. Like, he just thinks that he got corrupted by the humans and tricked, and that he needs to be reset to be a plant, and if he can, he'll just go back to being his brother. Which I'm sure is absolutely how that's going to go. Totally. God, this show rocks.
This show's really good. It was like, it felt like it was too fast this week, though, to me. If that makes sense. Like, I feel like a lot happened, but it was also like you said, it's the biggest, like, ball tease ever.
Yeah.
Where it's just like tickling your nuts, like, oh, we're getting to the good stuff. Oh, nope, we're done.
If you made this into one really, really long movie, it'd be incredible. Like, this show can run continuously without a problem, I'm pretty sure.
This would have been such a good show to binge.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's also been perfectly wonderful to watch week by week, right?
It's been really fun to watch week by week.
There have only been, like, maybe one or two episodes where I'm like, oh boy, if I could just watch this with its next one, would this be incredible? This being one of those, where it's like, oh, if you could just do this full straight to the end.
I feel like the show is probably best consumed either full watch binge it or in groups of 3.
Maybe half and half, even. Maybe like a 4 and maybe like a 5 and 7 kind of thing. Or
maybe, yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think when would be the good. I think
probably
if you
the Rolo episode.
I think if you stopped at I think that's right. I think if you stopped at the Rolo episode, because by that point Wolfwood is with them, and like part of the group, and that's after Lazazi stuff. Then like you pick up with, the stuff on the city in the orphanage, and you get that Wolfwood to the end arc, and I think that's a very nice straight line of stuff.
Yes.
So much has happened in these 12 episodes. Oh my lord. Compared to a lot of other shows. Oh my lord.
this is also one of those shows where 23-minute episodes feel like 40
50.
minutes, and that's
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
I agree.
I also feel like there's so much left to happen, though, is the crazy
Mhm.
thing, you know?
I imagine this isn't ending.
I don't think
here.
it's ending. No.
It's just the end of this core.
Yeah,
I have
season
to
of it.
imagine that like we're
Is
getting
it-
more of this.
we have to get more. This, like, I hope we get more. The show's incredible.
It unfortunately might take a long time because what, Michael? Do you remember how long was the gap for Beastars between its first and second season? Wasn't it like 4 years?
Something like that.
It may have been, but it also that was Beastars, not a recreation
true.
of a critically acclaimed classic.
It'll probably
Trigun?
be. It might be a little shorter of a wait.
One
But
of them was a slice of life show about furry animals, and though it was amazing, furries. People don't like them sometimes.
God, I have to explain the conversation I had about that at one point.
you have to watch Beastars. I'm telling
I
you,
have-
it has moments that you have to work through, but then once you work through them, it is worth it. Michael and I have to watch
Yeah.
the second season of it.
True.
I will watch Beastars at some point. John, I need to explain to you the conversation I had with Abandon about that show at one
Oh,
point.
no.
Oh, God, that was
Is it a banger conversation?
it was a conversation where I was
Or
mad
was
at
it
him.
an
by-
abandoned conversation?
It was an abandoned conversation.
That's all
It
I
was a-
need to know.
yeah.
But yeah, Trigun's good. Trigun's amazing. It's just like I said, the pacing felt a little weird this episode to me. Like in that, like it felt both very long and very slow, but still really good. Listen, Sash is not ahead of it because of that. Sash is ahead of it because of reasons I'll explain when we get to it.
Yeah, I think I know the scene that puts
It's
it
also
ahead
because
for
it's
you.
going away. Which one?
Look, do we want to,
We'll
Michael?
see.
Do you have anything to say about Trigun before we go into Chick Apple?
The scene when he sees the rose petal on his hand, and then it breaks him out of it for a second. It wasn't like a sad scene or anything, but I almost fucking cried when it cut over to Rat. I don't know what it was about that scene. It was just fucking
It's because
chef's kiss. It was perfect.
It's because Vash is such an incredibly well-written character that you see something like that and you feel for him so much.
Also,
just the
thank you.
metaphor of red flower petals being used for blood is great. Always.
Oh yeah. Also, like, I really appreciate when a show does something that recognizes the fact that it should be acknowledging something going on. And the fact that Vash has one of those moments where he's trying to fight against Nai and this reprogramming, and he goes, I don't have 2 arms. Hold on a minute.
Yeah,
and it's the
that
first
was
thing
great.
that you're like, yes, good, Vash. You've got it. You're thinking straight.
Vash, you got this, and then he just doesn't have
Yeah,
it.
and then you're just like, oh no, you poor boy. Someone saved my poor boy. He's drowning. Literally.
Also, fucking when Wolfwood sees Roberto's body, the I owe you one.
I owe you one.
God.
Takes the smoke.
that hurts. That hurts so much.
When he goes for a smoke too in the episode, and there's just nothing left, so he just crushes it.
Yeah.
I just hope he gets the smokes from his body and like goes, thanks.
This show did.
You know Wolford's gonna walk back and help out. You know he's coming.
How?
He's the
What?
boy.
Like this? Here's the thing, though. The show has not, and this is a fine thing. I'm not complaining about. The show has not fully explained all the bullshit power stuff the plants have, which is fine in this particular case. This is not a case like High Card where I think a system needs to be explained to me. There is something that most people do not know in this world, even the people who have it, that like, I don't know how you stop what's going on. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I don't.
It might just be it happens and we enter like a part 2 where we now have to deal with this.
Yeah, I don't.
Like,
I don't.
These like 12 or 15 whatever, or can't think of the name. The independents are made, and now Vash has to go deal with them in some capacity.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the end of this. Before we get into, I want to say 2 things about Sugar Apple Fairy Tale before you talk about it, Michael. One, they were roommates. I adore that part of the episode, and I'll talk more about it later. 2, There is a scene in this episode that is arguably really dark. However, I feel that it is not out of place in this show because I think this show has done a very good job teetering that line of doing things that you go, oh fuck, makes me uncomfortable. We must put a stop to this. Michael, go ahead.
The entirety of the fucking previous arc was it was terrifying. Every time they pulled out a fucking sword and threatened to murder someone.
Yes.
But yeah, this episode, I'm trying to think exactly where it starts or whatever. So they are doing more of the
They
work.
addressed the thing we don't like from last week.
Yeah, almost like immediately, Anne brings up to Shao that she saw him interacting with Bridget, to him going, who the fuck's Bridget?
It's so good.
And she's like, you know, the girl you embrace? He's like, oh, that's her name? So she was trying to, like, buy me because, you know, she's an asshole. And Anne was like, okay, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense. I was overreacting. And then Shao doesn't bring up what he saw because he's a little baby.
Not.
But Anne, being a sociable human being, understands that, yeah, she's just gonna bring it up because that's what she does. Then Anne's like, and then thinks about Keith's thing and goes, fuck, I need to work on my piece. And she goes, but I don't know what to do. So she's like, I'm gonna also do a fairy motif because, you know, Keith told me that that's just like what they like, so she's gonna do one of those. And then she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go look up stuff about like the royal family and stuff and like the past so I can get some ideas. And she learned Shao because he's a fairy, or the obsidian he was made from happened to exist at a certain location. He understands the ancient script.
I love it. It's so dumb.
He's like, yeah, but maybe the obsidian I was made from remembers. Bro, what the fuck did that even mean? But I don't care, because I guess it makes sense in the world system. It just kind of, it works.
It's a little
You can read
wonky,
the ancient
but
scripts about the Fairy King and King Cedric, and how the Fairy King had King Cedric as a slave at one point. And it was like, wait, hold on. Okay. And they immediately start with that being the order they say the names. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then we learned about like King Cedric and the Fairy King and how they were homies or stuff. Yeah, they vibed. They're cool. Royal family really likes fairies. It's like homies.
Light shines on Shell's wings, and Anne has a brain blast.
And she's like, yeah, no, I got my idea. And then she goes and makes her thing. We get a little time skip of like 3 days later, or whatever. We get like little cuts of her like doing the actual work in between. But she gets her thing done. And then head of the Radcliffe household or school, he's like, okay, I just gotta take a look, make sure you did it. Just, you know, whatever. It's the rules. So it's so they can show us the thing. They needed a reason for us to see it before the thing. And it was fucking amazing. This thing's beautiful. 10 out of 10.
Keith and
he's
Sammy
like, yeah, no,
are
damn,
also
that's
there.
really good. And then Keith sees it and he goes, fuck. That's really good. And he goes, Trader says to Anne, yeah, no, I know. He's like, I'm confident in my own work. And now I feel uneasy about this competition. To which, asshole McFuckboy, I don't remember his actual
Sam.
name.
No,
I
I
don't
think that's
care
his
enough
actual
to
name.
remember his
That's
name.
correct.
The guy who was the first guy who's a misogynist to Anne upon arriving here. Or one of the first guys.
No, he is. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
First one.
No, he's the
Yeah.
first. He's the first.
He's like, okay, I'm now gonna hatch a plan to make it so Anne's unable to be an artisan. So he gets Jonas to invite Anne and go, hey, the head guy wants to talk to you. And Anne's like, okay. It's like at night they go to the workshop. And as she walks in, you see a pot of sugar shit boiling on one of the stoves, and you're like, Chekhov's gun is really smoking right now. I don't like that. I don't like this thing being here. And I'm like, this is also absolutely going to be a terrible thing. And then asshole McFuckboy
Shadow Wizard Money
goes,
Gang walks
yeah.
in.
He's like, yeah, you made Keith feel uneasy, so we're gonna have to destroy your hands. And you go, what?
You made him therefore to the oil pits.
Jonas is able to run out because they don't care about Jonas. Jonas was just forced to be part of this plan. Jonas runs and gets Sean and goes, and you have to go save Anne. And he goes, fucking bet. And he almost murders
He really
20
does
people.
kind of go fucking bet and runs out.
Yeah.
It's not
And
that
then
different.
and then almost walks in and instantly murders 5 people.
Listen, Shaw knew things were fucked up when Jonas is telling him to come
Hey.
help.
Yes.
Let's
Jonas
talk.
like almost has like actual character development in this episode. And it was really cool.
I do want to talk
Yeah.
about this. I don't think Jonas,
Jonas is
knew
slowly getting
any
less
of.
shitty.
I don't think Jonas knew any of this plan.
No,
I think the
no,
entire
no.
thing.
He's used as a
catches him off-
messenger, and so he could be a scapegoat.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that it's a lie. He thinks the message is legit. Is the
Yeah.
thing. Also, can we talk about the fact that Anne orders Shell not to do something? She doesn't like this is her flat out going, "Do not kill anybody," and he's like, "Fuck." She might not
like,
have my
"Oh."
wing, but she will literally hate me if I sever your head.
I wish
However,
Shal just went like Shal was just like, listen, fairies live longer than humans. When she dies, so will you if you're still around.
yeah, that's kind of what he does. Where he's like,
That's
"One
what-
day
this is what he said.
I will kill you."
It's
Yeah.
like literally, and I was like, you know what?
No,
Good.
no, and-
Shell is wonderful this episode.
This episode was great. Sorry,
and then
Michael,
what
is
Mike?
there
Yeah,
more?
no, I mean Mike was
and
right
then
here.
and then this leads to all this happens, and then the leader of the Radcliffe School, he's like, "Yeah, we're really sorry about what happened. You know, it's
Fuck this guy."
absolutely out of place. He should not have done that. And as reparations, we are completely kicking Jonas out of the school." And you go, "No, fuck you. Jonas didn't do any of this." And then as Anne goes, "Fuck you. Jonas didn't do any of this." And he goes, "Well, whatever do you mean? Who could have done it?" And she goes, "Asshole McFuckboy." And then Shell goes, "It was asshole McFuckboy." And he goes, "Nah, it couldn't be. Couldn't have been him. He's the one who reported it. Why would anyone report their own crime? Maybe so they wouldn't be fucking caught for it. Maybe that's the whole fucking idea. Huh."
You
So
and
now they're
Jonas are now
kicked
both
out of
kicked
here
out.
now. But like they both already have their things done, so they're still
We
able to enter the competition.
Don't know that Jonas has his done. He
Oh, yeah,
was
we know
wor-
it's,
he
like,
was
close to
working
done.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know he was working on it, and there's like 2 days left for him to have had it
Yeah.
done.
Which,
But yeah,
Look, I don't like Jonas, right? You're not supposed to. You're
No,
at
but
a point where
I
you-
still feel bad for him.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? You see a character who has reined in his companion fairy from being a bitch towards Anne, and like started to take this more as a, okay, you know what? Yeah, I was really shitty, and and it was because I don't think I have the talent. I should try to make something that I'm actually proud of. And that's what I'm doing right now. And you know what? I respect it. I still don't like him. Doesn't redeem him for anything he's done.
Yeah.
I appreciate as well that every interaction we've had with Jonas since she got to Radcliffe has been like, he's not being antagonistic. He very clearly just doesn't want to be in that conversation, and it's because he realizes how badly he fucked things up.
Also, it's like I think this is the other element to the last arc that was really something, is that like it's no longer like Anne just makes really good pieces and I can get away with her thing. He realizes she is a better artisan than I am and sticks her neck out to earn what she's gotten, and he is now watching what his scheme is doing to her. And and there is a non-zero chance he knows this is her last chance to become a master. And you have to imagine that feels horrible to him to some degree. No matter like where he lies. Like it is his fault. That has to be in his brain somewhere. Which I think is great. Also, I adore the fact that Mithril Lidpard starts talking to the head of the school and it's like, no, that's fucked up. I saw him there. They were the ones who did it. And he and the headmaster looks to Shell and is like, please quiet the companion fairy. And Shell goes, no. You know what? Shitty apprentices learn from shitty masters.
That was fantastic.
Fucking
I love that
buries
Shaw
the
just
man.
like stopped giving any fucks this
Oh,
entire
mhm.
episode. He's like, I'm
Oh, yeah.
over it.
Just
I'm over this
great.
bitch. I'm over that bastard. I'm over these fuckers. Fuck everyone else. Like, she's done
And
with
now
her shit.
Anne is
We're out. Honestly,
and now
optimal
Anne is
for Anne.
traumatized.
Honestly, optimal for Anne. Got her shit
It
done.
really
She can get out.
is.
Gets her. She
Yeah,
gets to keep her
yeah.
sugar too. Like,
So terrified something was going to happen to this absolutely beautiful sculpture, by the way.
Right.
Because
like someone's gonna steal or something
'cause
while
let's
she's
ta-
gone.
let's talk about it, right? Keith has made a replica of a living thing that may capture parts of Shell's beauty. Like, that's the whole thing he's going for, is being able to capture something in a product. Anne has created something incredibly meaningful and also really pretty.
God, the set pieces in this show between like the sugar like art itself, so beautiful.
Was I the only one
absolutely
at first though who thought that she was gonna go and just make Shell's wing? I was like, how are you gonna go and
Yeah.
he's made
Yeah,
all
that
of
was
Shell?
the first.
What are
I
you
was like, I was
just gonna
curious,
make
is she just
his
gonna make
wing?
the same ship but better? Like, is that the
Right?
game plan? Like
Like, imagine
So
if he showed up
just
with a
realized-
full statue of Shell, and she's just like, but here's his wing. And they're like, shit, that is a really good wing, though.
wait, but she got the wings better than he did. But he did.
Do
the
we
rest
know
of it.
if Keith is done with his yet?
Well, he said he's gonna go make changes because he was nervous. They did show he showed her he was still making finishing touches,
Yeah.
but like
Because,
he
face
had the
isn't
full
finished.
artwork of
I was gonna
Shell
say,
in
I don't think
Because,
the eyes
fun
are done.
fact, Shell's no longer allowed on the
Yeah.
premises. Keith no
Yeah.
longer has his model.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I just realized that.
I
when
don't think
John-
he has the
Keith
eyes
John
done.
mentioned his thing.
I think that was the important detail, was he didn't have the
Mm.
eyes, which we
The
know
leader of the Raccoon School just sabotaged. Yeah, we know the eyes
Yeah.
are super
Yeah.
important when it comes to fairy
Because
stuff.
last
that was the
arc,
thing
that was
last
big.
arc focused on. Was getting the exact silver perfect in the fairy's eyes.
I think the scene in the church where they learn all the stuff about the Fairy King and the Human King. While I think Shell's history comment is a little on the nose about the, history is written for convenience sake, I do really, really find it funny and enjoy the whole yeah, they were basically madly in love and only went to war with each other because their people are big racist idiots.
Mhm.
And Anne's just like, but the story I know, there's a woman involved who cheats on a guy and gets with another guy, and thus repercussions. Why the fuck? Like, it's one of those like
Yeah.
it's you sit there and you go, yeah, that checks. I believe it. That makes sense. Like, it's the whole knock at the Bible where it's like, of course the woman's the bad one in the situation, right? Oh, the woman's bad. Oh, the fairy's bad. The only good thing's the hot human king. Sure, yeah, I bet. I love the idea that it's like, no, they were incredible homosexuals for each other, and no one
Yes.
knows because they weren't made of obsidian and have the innate knowledge to read high script. Which is still the funniest line to
My
me.
obsidian knows how to read the ancient script. What does that even fucking mean?
I do like that he first starts that line, by the way, with, I might just have always known how. Or maybe the obsidian I want. It's like, no, you were right the first time, probably.
If they had just stopped it there, would have been like, all right, cool, fine, whatever.
Yeah, so they got things fairies can do.
Fairy knowledge
Fairies are
bullshit.
made from sight, so yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Just
cool.
make it sure.
Obsidian.
The rocks
That's-
remember.
We also get the bit this episode where Mithril and Pod teases Shell, and it's like, if a human girl was like, "Hey, I want to kiss you," what would you do? And it's like, and Shell's just like, "You be quiet. Stop
he's like,
talking."
no. I think the exact thing is like, hey, I need some advice. It's important. He's like, I will never trust you about something being important ever again. It's like what he says, or a serious question ever again.
I will say, a character like Mithril Lidpod can very much overstay their welcome and be very obnoxious, and he's actually been really good this show.
He's been a very solid, like, comic relief mascot character
Mhm.
for this show.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a funny little
He's just a
dude.
dude. He
Like,
helps around.
Mason-
He likes his sugar.
Mason, you
Um,
will understand this immensely, because he is like how all of I can't think the thing Bienfu is. He is like
yeah.
he could be like all of those in the Tales of Zestiria, Tales of Berseria
Oh.
universe, and he's not. Like, think about how
Yeah.
refreshing that is that he's not a Tipo or a Bienfu.
God, yeah, because like
Fuck those
Bienfu
characters.
is actively the worst part of that game.
And Tipo
Like,
is almost the worst part, if not still the worst part of his game too.
I mean, so like, unfortunately, Zestiria is just kind of a boring game overall. So like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with Tipo just because
Well, no-
Tipo gives me something.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tipo
What?
is. I forgot Tipo is in
Or no,
He's
no,
in
Tipo's
Cilia. He's
Zilia.
Cilia's,
Yeah,
yeah.
excuse me.
He has
that-
some problems.
Tipo has some problems.
The same way that Teddy has problems in Persona, and that
Yeah.
People
Well,
like
we'll say
Teddy's
about
homie.
Sugar Apple Fairy Tale this week, though, guys. Since we are an anime podcast.
yes.
Is that
Technically, those are
at
all
first-
anime.
At first, when I saw the things in the rankings, I was like, maybe I put it a little bit high. But the more we talk about it, this was a banger episode. Of
You know,
Sugar
it was a
Apple Fairy
really
Tale.
good
I don't give a
episode.
It
fuck.
was a really good episode.
Again,
No,
this banger, I think
This show
I
is
think,
really fucking good.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this show was also set up, but also not set up for a finale. Which is a nice part about
Yeah,
it.
we know it has a
Um,
season 2. It's going to conclude in some way. I'm really excited to see
But-
where it ends and where it could potentially go for a second season. The show is
I-
beautiful. It does a lot of things artistically that I love from the show.
And it has all things we don't condone on the podcast:
Correct.
sexism, racism, and
Slavery?
bigotry.
Hey,
Like-
slavery?
slavery.
What?
Hey,
You
slavery.
forgot
Look.
the most important
The
one.
most important thing we don't support.
I had slavery in my mind, but I said
Do not
sexism, and
condone
my brain
slavery.
said you said my brain
You said the S word, yeah, you're good.
I said
You're good.
sexism, and then I said racism,
Racism,
and my brain
bigotry.
went you said slavery somewhere in there. But either way,
This
think
might
for
be
a
the
fair
highest.
Word,
banger this
racism,
week.
slavery.
This might be the highest a shoujo show gets. Was Sasaki Tomiyano considered shoujo? Or no,
No,
because
he
it's yaoi?
Consider it
it's
shoujo.
gay shoujo.
It's
what are-
BL.
Yeah,
It's
who
BL.
else is BL for?
BL is a subset of shoujo.
What is BL if not shoujo?
Yeah.
But either way, it was a good time. With Sugar Steel, I'm gonna watch the finale because the show's
Oh
banger.
yeah, like come on now.
And like for a shoujo, it's really enjoyable. It's just really cute.
It's just like a well done drama fantasy
The
slice of
drama
life
is actually like
romance
the
thing.
stakes actually feel serious. Also, there's a good boy just scratching himself, and I can't.
Yeah, he's
It's like-
vibing.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him.
Also, Sean, I hope you liked my meme. My dumb shit.
Guys, I wondered what the results this week are going to be. Oh, I should probably like open the actual voting doc, not the file where I can edit the voting doc. That might like be useful to do. By the way, we're probably doing the finale next week. So long as schedules work, right? Cuz
Yeah,
like
theoretically.
if we don't, we're really going to screw us over for next season because I think we have to do the finale and pick next week. For this to go well, because stuff's gonna start coming out, and by that I mean stuff has started coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
I work this long weekend, and then I'll have time because I'm not going anywhere this week. So I'll be actually home for once, and not traveling 6 different places.
I'm proud of you.
I've been so busy. It's been wild. Amber's birthday week, and then Pokemon, and then back, and then I work 4 days in a row, and I'm gonna die. I might just be dead on like Saturday and Sunday, and just like call on one of those days. Be like, fuck it, I'm out. Peace. Because it is. Oh, actually, I might not, because it's Easter, so I'll probably force myself to for that delicious, nutritious time and a half.
Right, Sunday is Easter. Forgot
Oh,
about
I got a fun
that.
story, guys. I got a fun story. So I had to come when I came back on Monday. I had my tele test for my telemetry class, which is like the heart monitors. It's called telemetry. I had to take a class on it, even though I'm certified to read it and perform advanced life care support. And like I can determine to administer shocks to people like legally because I have a certification for it. Again, by seeing a rhythm, basically. I don't trust myself to do that. I would never willingly do that and sign up for that in the moment because I haven't done that in like 2 years and looked at the thing. But I had to take a tele test, even though I know a lot about the rhythms and stuff, right? And so I show up and it's 8 a.m. in the morning, and I'm only there for an hour. I take this dumb like 15 question test and like write out the rhythm and all stuff, and then someone sits down and grades it, and I sit there and like watch them grade it, right? And so this grader is like going through the test like this. I'm like missing some of the like values because like there's tiny little squares that you got to look at, and I'm like slightly off. It's whatever. But I'm only listening like I'm gonna pass anyway, so 4 docked or whatever so far in the 20 questions. And then she looks at this like one question. We're talking about like the answer, and I noticed because she has the answer key next to her, and so I'm like looking back and forth. I know she just skips one of the last pages questions, And I look over and I know the answer's wrong because I know I just fucking guessed on that shit. I know 100% it's wrong, but she just glossed over it, and I wasn't going to be the one to correct her on that. So, so I ended up getting like a 96%. You only need like 80% to pass. But like, I was like, I'm not going to be the one to tell you I'm wrong here if you don't say I'm wrong. And so I passed my tele test, which is like,
Guys, two things. One, Michael, fuck you for that game.
What Borgir and Borgir but fast?
Borgir but fast literally killed me. Okay, John. Fucking up my
We're
layout
done?
for the end.
what? I thought we were done.
No, we're not done. We haven't talked about the results.
Well, that's your fault.
No, it's
No.
not. You're the one who
No,
tangented.
Okay, so the results are that.
Hold on. No, second thing I have to bring up. What the fuck does ATTWCDBB mean?
ATTWCBD.
And that's the world champ difference, baby.
Okay, Wolf, calm down. Wolf is so broken, dude. He brought a giraffe to the regulation
Yeah.
team. Oh, my buddy got Wolf's autograph, by the way, on his team sheet.
Hi guys,
Oh, nice.
Tomo-chan, Buddy Daddies,
Yeah,
and
and a picture.
Trigun all had 4 saves, and Trigun Fairy Tail had 4 slays. Who could have seen this coming?
Sean, I'm really happy you asked because I was
Yeah.
waiting the entire podcast for someone to ask.
You know, I saw it. I was like, I don't fucking get what this
I don't know
is.
if you saw when John was doing that. I was staring at my screen going, I was just reading the letters like
And that's
this
the world
makes.
champ difference, baby.
Mason, where'd you post in that world champ difference, baby? Or is
It's
that
my
It's
name.
It's his name.
for the
It's my
voting.
name for the
been
vote.
watching more Wolfie lately?
No,
Like-
it's a really funny quote.
What
And that's the world
What
champ
I-
difference, baby.
what I do want to say is that we say it every season, which I think is always a good thing. Quality of anime feels really high comparatively to where, to some previous seasons where like this top 4 was incredible. Like legitimately, I think if it wasn't for some personal leanings towards stuff, Sugar Apple Fairy Tale maybe could have been in here. It might, legitimately, depending on what Buddy Daddies do, deserve 3rd place comparatively if Buddy Daddy's ending isn't great. I don't think that's gonna be the case. Which I think is probably how we all feel given that we didn't vote Buddy Daddies.
Yeah, but from what I've seen of PA work stuff, their originals tend to stick the landings pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so I think, but this has been a really great set of shows. I mean, we did have some stinkers, but what are you gonna do? We always have. That's always gonna happen.
Look,
I had some.
We
bang-
didn't have another Uncle from Another World this season. That's
Not
all
yet.
What
I
do you
can
mean?
say.
That was a goated show, according
Not
to
yet.
everyone on Twitter.
yeah, no, we did technically like, yeah, if it depends on what your definition of an uncle from another world is, because we did certainly have Angel Next Door, which the entire community thinks is the greatest fucking piece of fiction ever or something.
I think it's cute.
It was
I think it's
fine.
fine.
It was a solid slice of life romance, but like,
I don't think it's the strongest slice of life romance on the on this
No,
season.
yeah, I don't think it's the best rom com of this season.
It's just because everyone
It's,
goes.
it's number
"Oh,
3 maybe. And I
everyone
haven't
goes,
even
"Oh,
watched
he
Kubo,
just-
and it's probably better.
He just like me, but for real, and has cute girlfriend."
No, that
It's
she's
actually
not
rated lower than
girlfriend.
Tomo
though.
on Annual.
I thought it was. I thought it was for a while. It might not be now that it's over. Which we'll be ready.
I still
So
just watching the show. I think it's still pretty good.
next week, we are watching one more episode of Trigun, one more episode of Buddy Daddies, and the last 2 of Tomo. So we'll see where we all wind up on it, and we'll decide a champion next week. We'll see you guys then.